And we're back with another one of my projects that have been sitting at the side of the house for a little while, or in the corner, whatever. So, what we're working on today, we are working on the 1986 Kawasaki 454 LTD, or 450, whatever they call it. It is the liquid cooled engine, or I think that's all they had. I've worked on it before. If I recall correctly, I've rebuilt the carbs, put the cone filters on it, and at some point it ran. I don't know if it still runs, but what I know the vehicle needs is these forks slash struts slash whatever. They hold no pressure. I inflated the tires. I know they're older, so if I were to drive this thing seriously, it would probably eventually need new tires, maybe a new belt. Probably needs oil change by now. I think I need to clean out the gas tank. I was planning on painting it, but how about I find out if I'm going to ride consistently first. So, hoping this will be a quick little video series, one, maybe two, just fix some things. Oh yeah, needs a sensor too for the gauge, if I recall correctly. Oh, and stock handlebars. I have the stock ones in a tote. We're gonna replace it because I'm just not a fan of this. And yeah, we'll figure out more, but my goal is just to document anything I feel of relevance and, you know, get it up and working properly. So yeah, let's get this thing on a jack of some sort just to lift it up a little, and let's go from there. Or get a new battery, something, we'll figure it out. Here's a quick little comparison. Old, new to me. The issues you see right here, there's a whole lot of, looks like JB Weld, but might be some duct tape in JB Weld. If you look, but what we see, broke off here. They made a new spot there, which just came off. I was trying to take the hose off. The big reason for replacement is this area is what is exposed with the plastics for saying, hey, do you have low or high coolant? So, also, you know, that part's broken. And see, not sure if it shows it, but full, low, plastic is in order there. So yeah. Here's the replacement. Anyway, let's get back to work. Next up, we're going to work on the forks. I still have to add a little more coolant, but that's besides the point. Forks. What I've read, and I'm going to kind of go off what I saw in the forum, and I'm kind of recording it here so there's another way to see it, and I'm hoping I document it well. The forms, the first part of the process is to remove the caliper, you know, get it out of the way, put a piece of wood in it, apparently just in case you whoopsie or someone whoopsies and pushes the brake. I'm guessing it makes you require a rebuild if there's nothing in the middle. So I'm going to remove this, remove the speedo cable that's right here, undo this bolt here, and just kind of put everything off to the side. And yeah, we'll go there and then we will talk about what's next. Nothing's really there anymore. And it's probably good that I did this. Those brakes don't look to have the most meat left, but they do look even. So that's good. Calipers should be fine. I'm assuming, open the cap, compress that, because I'm probably gonna get some new brake pads while I'm at it. But the next step on that forum post is to loosen the 4 bolts. That one's hiding way under there and there. I may end up just removing the handlebars while I'm at this to get to that if I need to, because I'm putting the stock one back on. So anyway, let's get this process going. Next up, I'm kind of going out of order per se. So the forum post says to remove the whole thing and then do the next part. I'm kind of going reverse because I think it'll work, but I don't know. You need to drain the fluid. 10mm bolt right here has some nasty ass crap in it. It's on both sides. So my plan is drain it on each side, and then the forum post said to use the piston here, there we go, to at the end push out the rest of the fluid. My goal is when there's no more fluid and it's completely open, push the piston down on both sides to then have it come free from this. If not, I've got to jack it up more. But you'll see during the time lapse what I end up doing. So here we go. This is going to be the end of this day, because the GoPro got hot, so I'm just going to record a quick little outro for this part. We'll be back shortly. Yeah, if you didn't notice, there was water and oil coming out. You can't fully tell, but it looks like crap. So I'm going to throw some kitty litter down. But the wheel is off. We will continue the process very shortly on repairing that once the parts come in and I get some fork oil. So fork it, let's go. The next step the forum post says is to, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little hex, Allen, whatever thread in there, and it's pretty deep. So keep that in mind. And the post also said it's tight and easy to strip. So keep that in mind. Be careful. I was going to try and use one of my, socket ones, but I don't have any that go that deep, which is what he said. So anyway, I'm going to remove those real quick and we will be back with the next step. We've got both of the Allen head bolts out. I'm at the stage of I'm going to start trying to lay them out properly. These were the bolts. This was the drain bolts. Because from my understanding, you're going to have a bunch of springs and different tidbits. So the next step, they say on the forum, is, let's see if I can lift this up without breaking. Apparently you need to push down with like a 12mm ratchet, and there's some clip you also have to do. Now let me revisit it real quick and then I'll properly tell you what to do. There is what appears to be a ring down there. I have it twisted to where the opening appears to be about there. You see a lot of corrosion here. Not as much here because that had the cap on it. I had to spray some brake clean, or not brake clean, some deep creep in both of these, and let soak. And then what it allowed me to do is I could hold this, and then the forum post says to get a 12 millimeter deep socket with an extension and press down, and until I did the deep creep I couldn't. So now I can press down, and it goes down like an eighth, if I'm lucky, an eighth of an inch. It might be 1/16, but it looks like you press down that way, and then you take a screwdriver and pull up the little, it's like a C-clip. We'll find out for sure when I actually get this out. The forum post recommended this be in a vise. I don't really have a good setup for a vise, or a vise that I would trust. So I'm going to be trying to do it by hand, or some magical trick. When I figure it out, I'll let you know. We'll be back. I found my magic trick, and results may vary. So, 10 or 12 millimeter thing didn't matter, because the valve itself is a 10, but just to give you a loose idea, I had this pressing against the shelf, so it pushed the piston down a little, if that makes sense. But then I used a sticky glove because I sweat. So push it down a little, grab this, push it up so it depresses the center section just a little bit. Then I used this little, what was it, eyeglass, screwdriver, whatever, little one. And I was able to slide it out of the groove, which is, somewhere down there. So that's how I was able to remove it. And it did pop up a bit, so it kind of scared me. So this flew off one way, that flew off another, but they're out. And it looks like crap. I might see if I can order a new one, or I might just scruff it up and move on. So, yeah, that's how that is. There's no way I could get the camera close enough to do that and show anything of use. So, we will be back with disassembly. Hooray! Okay, so here we are. This is the layout of how they were in this fork from beginning to end. Pull that out, little washer between, spring on that little plunger looking thing, and another little spring. And then next, aside from the splatting on the wall, there is a little wavy clip in there that apparently is really easy to get out. You can kind of see, like, you put a screwdriver in between that. Then after that, these come out apparently kind of like a slide hammer. So the recommended thing on the forum, put it between your knees and more or less yank up. A lot of men will be very familiar with some of that process. And my reason for doing this is for all of us noob motorcycle people. Cars are very similar, but some parts aren't. And for someone like me, it seemed a little daunting. So I'm documenting every bike isn't gonna be the same. But for noobs, just try, just search, just see what you can do. Anyway, let's get that last thing torn apart and do a final inspection on the guts. Here we are, intermission. I'm waiting for parts to finish the fork job. So, fork it. We're gonna do the handlebars. So, this will probably just be time lapse. From what I gather, it'll be just, undo some plugs, slide this off. I'm pretty sure there's a bolt or two. Loosen that should slide off. Things and stuff. Looks like brake line should be able to stay. Oh yeah, because it's 2 bolts here. And this is seeped because it's at an angle because I loosened it. But that's besides the point. And I think there's probably 1 or 2 other things here that hold it in place. So, yeah, we're just going to do that here real quick. Let me get it done. We have a small intermission here just to cover what I did. Obviously, I replaced the handlebars. Left side was pretty easy. I found out that they said some isopropyl alcohol, whatever, spray. I did not have that, but I did have silicone. So I put the screwdriver under the handle, sprayed some, tried to do a little on the back. You twist a little and it comes right off. The whatever controls they were, here we go, lights, horn, turn signal, brake. This part was 2 screws. You loosen them, you don't even have to fully remove them, and they'll slide off. The brake, or there's just a clutch. 1 bolt, loosen, slides off. Brake, or this side, you have, and I did not know this, you have little holes through, at minimum, the top. The other handlebar had one on the bottom too. We'll look at it shortly. But it's a whole assembly with the start and everything. You have a brake line here, the throttle. So again, I sprayed some silicone in here. The rubber came off for the handle because I'm pretty sure I'm getting new ones. I tightened the brake master cylinder back up from earlier, so it wouldn't leak. I'm hoping I still have fluid in there and just have to top it off. And yeah, I'm not going to fully tighten this up yet in case I have to finagle it to get those things back on. And then I will fully tighten this down, but then I might have to loosen it later once I actually get to ride it. And here was the old handlebar. Probably works for some people. I'm looking more for, if I keep this bike, I'm probably going to go a bobber look. So, after fiddling with stuff, if I keep it, I'll get a new seat, do some chopping of the rear, but that's all for later. So there's that. Let's get things put back together. Or mostly put back together. Hooray! Done with the handlebars for the most part. Let's get back to that stuff. For the last part of disassembly, the forum post says there is a cone-shaped piece of metal in there, followed by a washer, followed by a spring. We will remove those real quick, verify, and then I will go place them over there and quickly clean everything off. I don't know if it's required, but I feel like with how old all this stuff probably is, it's probably best to clean everything. And I bought in that bag right about there 3 cans of parts cleaner, so I'm planning on cleaning it. Let's see what we got. First piece. Okay, well, it says cone, and it might be kind of cone-ish, but here you go. So next up should be a washer. Okay. And maybe something wasn't assembled right? I don't know. Let me go place these, see what's on the other side. Okay, what do we got? We have a cone thing. We have a spring. Okay. I can't imagine both are missing, so let's dump this real quick and see what we got out of it. Okay, actually, I think just how it was described isn't what I expected. There is a washer attached, like the spring is kind of pressed in there. So I'm still gonna clean the living crap out of that and all the parts. But we will be back after I've cleaned, and if I find any other parts, then we will document that. Here's what one of my old seals looked like. As you can tell, it's a little jacked up. And then here's what the new seal looks like. One of these things are not like the other. So, from what I can tell, I pulled this one off, facing up, faces up, and what it looks like is the bottom, there's a taper on the rubber. The top is more or less just a 90-degree shelf. And with that, let's also document, I got these on Amazon. Surprisingly, I was just able to type in fork seal. The part number, 15-6126. It comes with the dust shields as well as the seals. So yeah, I'm gonna go finish cleaning parts and hooray. Okay, after a little bit of reading, I'm going to continue on without all of the materials. So what I'm gonna need to do, put the drain plugs back in here. Then need to load up the top pieces here in this order. Spring, that thingy, bigger spring, washer, pipe, they all go in. Then after that, let's pour that out. There we go. Oh. So this thing, then you got the flange washer with the spring. That fits nicely in there. You put that there. So, then you go through, put that stuff back together. Once you put this in, it's recommended to tape up the top so you don't need to try and put the little valve thing in place. I'm gonna go do that real quick. You've already seen me take it apart, so we'll just come back when that's kind of put together. Okay, so here's where we're at. Those have been fully put back together the way they came out. Here's the new seals. I had to slide it out just a little, because we're going to deal with that part here in a second. Fully assembled, slid in. What you do next, you put the Allen head bolts in the bottom. Then after that, you use, where the hell are they? Here they are. You use your old seals. You slide it over. Oops, you slide it over. I'll fix that here in a second. So they're touching, push it there. And what you do is you use this to take a hammer to and lightly tap the new seal in. So you tap it all the way around evenly as to not like kink anything, or more or less not to screw up the new one. With that said, I'll be back. Hooray! Okay, I got one done. Took me what feels like an hour. I'm not completely sure. But after you get it pushed all the way down, and there it is. When you use that to hammer it down, you get pretty close to flush with the surface. You'll have enough to pry it back up, but yeah, it takes a while. I used boards to hold it up against the pipe or the strut, whatever, the tube, so I could hammer the seal in and not scratch anything, because, you know, wood, soft, yada yada. I also used a piece of metal steering, 3/4 D something. Anyway, because it's rounded at the end, like, so it's not very sharp, so I used that too. I ended up getting in there. No issues with the pipe, although, to be fair, the pipe's already as far down as it'll ever go. I don't know if it really matter if you were to hit it, but you don't want to bend it or anything, so you still got to be careful. Anyway, that's in there. Let me get this done, and we'll be back with what needs to happen next. Here we are. Things have been put back together. Once you get this pressed in, again, vice grips or vice, however the forum post says, or in my case, pressing against here, it worked out nicely. I guess I was kind of lucky. Once you get pressed in, pushing the clip back in is easy as hell. I used 12 ounces. Everything I read online said, you know, like 10 ounces on an oil change for these, 12 if you're going dry. And yep, she was dry. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm pretty sure I got the right fluid or something that'll work. Fork oil, modal, 10W medium, whatever the hell that means. But 10W20 is what everything said. I assume this was close. I hope I'm not wrong. Anyway, we're going to put the fork back on now. So, yeah, let's get done. So, I'm going to do a quick little things that probably there's quite a few how-to videos and yada yada for oil changes. But, let's see. Oil filter's about there. Fill and visible hole is over on that side, the right-hand side. And I've got a kickstand ordered because I'm pretty sure you can kind of see it. This thing's all jackered up. So, I tried to go online, or I tried to find something local. Not gonna happen. I mean, it's like an 87 or whatever. So, let me get that oil change done real quick. Here's a quick little before. That little visibility hole shows that that shit be dark. We'll be back with clean. And now it's clear. Hooray! You can even see the camera. Anyway, so did that. Put little spade connector type things on the side marker, plastic. Hooray. I can't remember. I think I already said about the kickstand. So I'm going to put some of the plastics back together and then hopefully consider what I'm going to do with that gas tank over there. Paint it or just put it back on. We'll find out. Because that red really makes it like I'm going for a Christmas theme. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Be right back. Next thing we're doing is changing the color of this. I have taken a scouring pad to this thing, degrease, wax remover, yada yada, a little bit of scruffing up. Now, with that said, it's far from perfect. I am not diving too much into this for the fact that one, I just didn't like how it looked. That's the only reason I'm painting it. I found little imperfections and I don't know what that's going to cause, but this is partially me wanting to play with the metal cast paint. So what I'm going to do the base coat, then do the metal cast, and then up there I have some 2K paint, little rattle can. So partially wasting the rattle can because I'm not going to need a full can to paint this. I have nothing planned, but that's what I'm doing. Let's get it done. Also, just a little primer. I experimented with two different approaches here. This was with a gunmetal gray wheel paint from Duplicolor, then with the metal cast sprayed over it. This was with the metal cast base. I don't think I got it as smooth as it could have, but I feel like it looks good. I really could have went either way, but I'm going with this. Okay, now to work. And this is the final product. There is some trash in here, and I'm not sure how well that paint lays down. And as expected, there's a crack here. I wasn't gonna bring everything down. I just sealed it up, did like 3 or 4 layers of clear coat. There's little imperfections there, but yeah, 10-footer, give or take. And with that said, I'm gonna call this video here because I feel like I have a lot recorded. I'm going to sift it out. Hopefully reasonable size. And hopefully on the next video, I'll have the new kickstand and things put back together, yada yada. So thanks for watching. Hopefully the fork part was reasonable. And see you guys shortly.